Michael, welcome, sir, and thank you so much for joining us today. We've heard from 5G experts and leaders throughout the day, and there's an understanding that security is important in enabling 5G adoption in the business segment. What I'd like to hear from you is more what kind of security is needed and how does Fortinet deliver or plan to deliver what's needed. So look, let me start with why, from a threat perspective, the introduction of 5G as a key technology for businesses mandates security. Why is that?
As you know, 5G is very different from 4G or 2G and 3G. These differences are fundamental to the 5G capabilities, but they also impact the 5G threat landscape. So for example, unlike 4G, number one is 5G is mostly based on standard IT protocols and technologies. Also, 5G is significantly more open and allow better integration with external application functions. 5G can be very distributed, both over the physical layer and virtual layer. 5G radios can be shared. And in fact, with the initiatives like Open RAN, the various 5G components can rely on the COTS hardware purchased commercially. And also part of the IoT and IIoT in 5G will be significant. And I think people are talking about the URLLC, which is the ultra reliable low latency communication, and MMTC, the massive machine type communication being part of the 5G applications. Also, 5G industry facing services and ecosystems will greatly rely on the compute, the apps and tools in the edge. So all of the above create a very complex 5G ecosystem that translates into a large attack surface. In other words, there are more ways for the threat actors to get into the 5G network and into the enterprise. And also there's new threat vectors, which means the ways in which to gain access and penetration.
Thank you. Sorry, go on, Michael.
Yeah, well, we also need to remember that 5G role in the business sector, when it grows, its potential gains the threat actors see in attacking the network, and the enterprise and users also grow. So they have more incentive to do that. Taking these, and also there may be other aspects that I did not mention, now you can start to see and understand why 5G increases potential threat and therefore require better security, visibility, and control more than any other cellular technology we have before.
So I'm hearing complexity. I'm also hearing many threats. So let me move on to that. What would you consider to be the basic building blocks of security in an industrial 5G environment?
One needs to understand that the scope of 5G usage in the business market will evolve. The security needs to be part of that design, of that evolution, instead of just following the 5G evolution and become an afterthought, like what happened in the past. And I think we would all agree that the potential of the 5G for business, we would not want the 5G technology to evolve without the security being considered in that infrastructure. So I think the key for building a security into infrastructure is to be modular, and the basic building blocks are threefold. The first is the visibility. Like you cannot protect the assets if you cannot see those assets, if you know what's on your network, what are the applications, your services, and your ecosystem. So this is true for both the mobile operators and for the enterprise customers. And the second building block is the knowledge. So whether it's for enterprise or for the mobile operators, the quantity of data and events in your environment will be overwhelming, and the 5G will only make it worse. So the AI-based approach and automation tools must be put in place to gather, analyze, correlate, and make sense of all that data in order to be able to take like rapid actions in the face of threats and attacks. So the decisions to take actions must be based on the largest possible set of data as context and reliable, up-to-date threat intelligence. And this will be crucial and also to reduce the false positives. And the third, and not the least part of that building block is the control. The control is the ability to take an action where and when required to minimize the impact of a threat. So I think the 5G network, this will help to provide protection to the OT and IoT devices.
So you very clearly have given us a picture of the building blocks, if you like. But let's turn to Fortinet specifically. How does Fortinet empower companies and 5G operators to build such a modular security infrastructure with security visibility, knowledge, and control?
Well, that's a good question. Our security experience has allowed us to build a common, practical, and flexible approach to incorporate our portfolio today and also in the future into this we call a security strategy across many verticals and use cases. We call it Fortinet Security Fabric. So it's very similar to what the name implies, a flexible, adaptable, broad, intelligent, and automated security framework that directly integrated each other via a layer of analytical and AI-based tools. So the platform, the Security Fabric platform, is very unique in our industry. It came before the 5G came into the world, but it's ideal to deliver that security to the level, complexity, scalability, and performance required by industrial 5G environments and ecosystem. So I'll name a few benefits. It's number one is threat aware. Number two, it's OT and IoT devices aware. And it's being adapted to 5G aware. And it works well in the cloud or in a hybrid environment. And also it delivers the fastest speed in the industry that meets the 5G requirements. Well, on performance side, also the very low latency and hyper scalability. It's integrated into the AI-driven algorithms that we can modularly plug it in. And also it has I think it's the largest partner ecosystem in the industry. The Fortinet Security Fabric enables a shared security model to be implemented by the 5G provider and its enterprise customers. It has a common set of tools across 5G architecture and services and across business verticals and use cases. So by its essence, it's in continuous evolution as well. So an ideal platform to accompany the enterprise 5G use cases as they evolve.
5G technology and deployments are in their infancy, and there are still some question marks as to what 5G can deliver and when. And I'll give you some examples. What use cases are most suitable for 5G in OT and Industry 4.0 environments, and how will they work for different verticals? How will 5G into OT and IoT technologies evolve? The breadth and scope of threats that the 5G ecosystem will introduce into the industrial ecosystem, and so on and so on and so on. In short, there's a lot of uncertainty. Isn't it really challenging providing security in such an uncertain environment?
It is indeed. But Fortinet, we're fortunate to have a lot of presence in the enterprise across all industries and in the mobile network operators in their network. So this provides us with a very unique view and understanding of the benefits, the challenges, and risks that the industrial 5G ecosystem and use cases would bring along. And also this has led to development and security fabric I mentioned earlier to meet both the OT and the MNOs specific needs and requirements to protect their infrastructure or network. And we also uniquely have we call the FortiGuard labs to provide the dynamic threat intelligence that based on the information that we received from everywhere in the world and through the AI engine to abstract and understands what are the threat landscape and how it would relate to, for example, 5G use cases and industries. So basically, we have a solid foundation to work with both the mobile network operator and industrial users in their use case to protect their assets. And of course, as a very dynamic and R&D driven company, we will continue to evolve our security solutions and capabilities as well. And we have people and team looking and following the 5G and OT standards and their deployments in different 5G operators. We added our own understanding of the threat landscape and also the constant stream of requests from our customers, both on the operator side and on the enterprise side. And it's just, the innovation in the technology is just built into our genes and to, protect the customers.
Brilliant. Michael, thank you so much for your comments and information and so on. I just wondered, before we lose you, I just wondered if there's a last word or two you'd like to say to everybody who's here today.
Sure. We talk about the 5G in the business market, and there's tremendous potential in the application for everybody involved, business and individual. And you probably noticed I use the word potential a lot because the 5G truly brings that potential to individual and businesses to reach to a level that have not been seen before. So, but before we go there, I think the critical thinking is to be able to put the security into the 5G design instead of ignoring it and let the security become a afterthought, after like everything is done, what has happened in the past. So my word would be for enterprises, mobile operators, mobile and OT vendors, do not overlook security and let it not be an afterthought. Harness the 5G security now. It is possible. And Fortinet, we're here to help you to do so.
Brilliant. So I'm hearing, if you've got anything on the top of your agenda, it needs to be the three things. Top things need to be security, security, and security. And that will hopefully give you a better future.
Absolutely. I can't agree more.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real privilege to have you here, and I'm sure you would echo the thoughts that everybody else has said today. You probably can't wait to meet everybody in the same room together.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.